If you're injured in an accident, all you want is justice from the people at fault. This mission becomes even greater if the accident robs you of valuable property or, heaven forbid, a loved one. In those times, you'll stop at nothing to hold the responsible parties accountable. When one farmer was hurt in a terrible car crash that also took the life of his beloved mule, he went after the trucking company that caused the wreck. The company's expensive lawyer thought there was no way a simple farmer could defeat the resources of a massive corporation, but the farmer wasn't giving up without a fight. Anyone who has been involved in an accident knows that receiving justice from the guilty party is easier said than done. The mission to do so only intensifies if you've been robbed of something of value, or even someone special. During such times, you'll go to great lengths to hold those responsible accountable for their actions. When one farmer named Steve was recently injured during a car crash that also took the life of his beloved mule, he knew he had to hold the trucking company that caused the accident responsible. So he decided that he should sue the company. In the courtroom, the company's fancy lawyer interrogated Farmer Steve. "Didn't you say at the scene of the accident, 'I'm fine'?" the lawyer inquired. Steve's response eventually left the courtroom stunned. Farmer Steve replied, "Well, I'll tell you what happened. I had just loaded my favorite mule Susie into the..." But the lawyer interrupted Steve, saying he hadn't asked for the details. "Just answer the question. Did you not say at the scene of the accident, 'I'm fine'?" Farmer Steve was taken aback, but after regaining his composure, he looked directly into the lawyer's eyes and replied, "As I was saying, I had just gotten Susie into the trailer and I was driving on down the road that day when..." The lawyer cut him off again and said, "Judge, I am trying to establish the fact that, at the scene of the accident, this man told the highway patrolman on the scene that he was fine. Now, several weeks after the accident, he is trying to sue my client. I believe he is a fraud. Please tell him to simply answer the question." By this time, though, the judge was fairly interested in Farmer Steve's answer, and he said to the lawyer, "I'd like to hear what he has to say about what happened that day." Farmer Steve thanked the judge and proceeded with his story. "Well, as I was saying, I had just loaded Susie into the trailer and was driving her down the highway when this huge semi-truck and trailer ran the stop sign and smacked my truck right in the side. I was thrown into one ditch and Susie was thrown into the other. I was hurting real bad and didn't want to move." Farmer Steve continued, "However, I could hear old Susie moaning and groaning. I knew she was in terrible shape just by her groans. Shortly after the accident, a highway patrolman came on the scene. He could hear Susie too, so he went over to her. After he looked at her, he took out his gun and shot her between the eyes. Then the patrolman came across the road with his gun in his hand and looked at me. He said, 'Your mule was in such bad shape I had to shoot her. How are you feeling?' That's when Farmer Steve turned to the lawyer and asked, 'Now what the hell would you say?'